So what I want to talk about is here, what you're looking at is the Disney Quest building in Chicago. Disney Quest was a project that Disney embarked on for a while, which were interactive theme parks. What you're looking at here is a 6-story glass building. The original intent was to cover the building with metal graphics of the same design. Unfortunately, because we had done that before in Florida. Unfortunately, when we actually went to do that, we found out that since we made a building out of glass, that would cost twice our budget to put metal on the glass building. So with very little time left, I had to come up with a way to do the graphics. And the project was considering at that point, 3M film, things like that, which you're used to on buses. And they told me that, and I thought, you're not putting a sticker on that building. I worked too hard on that glass. The glass changes color, it fades from top to no stickers. So I wanted to think of something that I could do that would be cost effective and look really cool. So what you're looking at right now is about a bazillion 1-inch square rhinestones. So what I did was I wanted to do something dramatic. Well, I wanted to do something that wasn't a sticker. So I had this idea, and I thought, okay, wait, I have these square rhinestones, and I went and I bought a whole bunch of them because I knew if I brought this idea to my project manager, they would say, rhinestones, seriously? In Chicago? So I went and I found a place that manufactured rhinestones, bought a few gross, had a glass mock-up outside, put them up, tiled the different colors together so you could get it fade, brought my project manager outside and all of these people outside to look at this, had them standing in the weeds, and I said, that's what I want to do. And they looked at me and said, what is it? And I said, I'm not going to tell you until you tell me which eventually got presented to the Chicago Review Board as a reflective acrylic tile mosaic. So, as you know, when you come up with a good idea, use it again. So, what I did here was we were doing the Nemo Fish Garden for Florida, and I thought it would look really good if we did the same kind of rhinestone effect with different shapes to really give those fish a glow. So that's another example of the same kind of process, only smaller and in some ways more complicated. Okay, so this brings up the NEBO Project, which I want to talk about a little bit. We can get away from my close-up and do something a little bit more generic. There we go. Okay, so I got the NEBO Project to color. And the problem with that was, when we decided to do it, it was the paints we were currently using underwater were no longer compliant, especially in Southern California, which has some of the strictest AQMD regulations. So, of course, I got the challenge to do not only an underwater color version, but it had to be Nemo, which is the brightest colors on Earth. So, there's no paint that works. It's a very bright color palette, and it's my assignment. So, I decided that since we had the problem of finding something compliant, and the additional information of, I knew that we always have problems with our attractions underwater fading. So I thought, hey, if I have to solve one problem, why not solve two? Simple enough. So I tried to think of something that doesn't fade. And I did. Glass does not fade. So if you look at a stained glass window from the Renaissance, or if you look at pottery, which is basically a glaze that's glass from the Ming Dynasty, those colors have not faded. So what you're looking at here is colored crushed recycled glass that was hand broadcast onto rocks after a clear marine epoxy had been applied. Kind of like that. Only more people and bigger handfuls. Okay, so the other thing I want to talk about, I seem to have done in my career a great deal of planets. So let's start with Mission Space, which was a challenge for different reasons. One was, as you see that big red sphere in the center, what became very popular, and Scott mentioned, was art directors love paint to change colors. It's really cool. So there was this product that came out way back that everybody really liked because it was supposed to change all these different colors. The problem with it was because it was the chemical involved could create a full color spectrum. And if you've ever mixed paint or played with, things like that, if you mix all the colors together, you wind up with brown. So these color shifting paints on a small object might go from red to gold, but on a large object, all of a sudden you have sparkly brown paint that nobody likes. So they said, Susan, we want you to play with this paint and just make it go to the colors we want. And I said, sure, why not? So that red sphere that you see there does go from, as you can see right here, you have your golds, your reds, and your magentas. And that's all it does. So I know that sounds simple, but it wasn't. So, so give me a little credit. Here is a version of Earth, because one really fun thing about working with art directors is they like to give you some license, which I love, but it can be confusing. Because, for example, what I was told, we want an Earth planet, but we don't want Earth. We want it to feel like Earth without really being Earth. So I said, okay. So basically, we went for the big blue marble theory, so you won't see continents here, but if you look at the close-up, what I did was I did a very interesting thing with the paint, where I basically did all of this wet with pearl paint and glazes and dyes. And to do this, I had to set this up on a big pipe and turn it, and only work on one area on top at a time with lots of water. So it was another crazy kind of stunt that I pulled, but they loved it when I was done. So. Okay, so planets, since I haven't been talking about planets today, this is Hong Kong. That's the Hong Kong Orbitron. Hong Kong Tomorrowland has 51 planets in it. And I know that. Stop that for a second. Just to explain to you that what you're seeing in that crazy little live super speed video is I had to figure out a way to get all the planets to look like they came from the same universe, and they were painted all over the world in different shops. So what I did was I devised a system where each planet could look different and yet still look like they were from the same galaxy. So basically, I created a new way of doing stencils, which you're going to be looking at when I go back to hyperdrive. Or not. Okay, so now we're ready for clouds. So here I have hot glue gun, and this is a non-stick surface. What I'm using is a sheet of silicone to create the non-stick surface, and what you wind up with are things that look like this, which may not look that remarkable, but they make really good patterns. And with the glue, you're able to make several different kinds of shapes to create several different kinds of planets. Now you can all go home and paint your own planet. So I'm just going to be showing you some of the planets that wound up in Hong Kong. And specifically, I want you to take a look at these because these were another trick. Because they had to look like planets during the day and also like planets at night, and they were light fixtures. And if any of you have ever bought a blue light bulb at the hardware store, until you turn it on, it looks black. So the challenge here was to get those rich colors out of the light at night and not have the planet look black during the day. So what I basically did was I painted it twice. I painted it with rich, deep dyes and stencils, as you can see on the left, so it still has those patterns. Then I would use a diffusion layer, which we usually put inside the fixture to keep you from looking at the light bulb. But I put a white pearl diffusion layer, which brought the thing white again, but not solid, and then went and painted the planet again. So during the day, it looks like the rest of the planets. At night, it lights up like a light bulb. So I'm going to show you a few more pictures of that, then I'm going to run up the stage, and hopefully I didn't take up too much of your time. And that's Star Tours, which is the last project I did. And I just wanted to shout out to it. But this is the planet. This is a planet that was not seen during the day, but this is so you can see how deep those colors are when you have to paint for it to glow like that. So thank you so much.
So glad she wasn't the lawyer. Our next presenter is Dex Tanksley, Principal Facility Designer in Architecture. As a Principal Facility Designer, Dex is responsible for translating the ideas of creative to dimensional attractions and rides. This includes working with professionals from a variety of disciplines, from writers to artists to engineers, to understand and document creative concepts through producing 2D and 3D drawings for final construction. Dex has worked on the Disney projects worldwide: Tokyo Disneyland, Hong Kong, Disneyland Paris, Walt Disney World. Most recently, he served on the project team for the Radiator Springs Racers for Cars Land here at California Adventure, and the new Fantasyland expansion in the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. It's an extensive project. He's currently one of the architectural leads on Adventure Isle for Shanghai Disneyland. Dex joined Imagineering as an architecture intern in 1993 after winning the Imagination's University Design Competition, and he currently serves very effectively as a chairman of the Imagination's advisory board, encouraging students from diverse backgrounds and cultures to consider careers in creative design in the creative design field. Dex earned his architecture degree from Hampton University in Virginia. Please welcome Dex Tanksley.
Good evening, good evening. Hi. You guys been enjoying yourself? Yeah. Some really interesting people I work with. I think some of you guys are probably wondering, why does he have bubble wrap in his hand? I'm going to get to that in a few minutes. Let me start off and say thank you for coming to D23. It's very good to be back here. As Marty said, I'm Dex Tanksley. I'm a Principal Facilities Designer in the Architecture Group. And I want to share with you how I became an Imagineer and I landed the dream job.